buying an EV was definitely not on my bingo card for 2025. I've got some explaining to do. I feel like this video is going to be me justifying the reason for me buying an electric car. The problem with electric cars is everybody has an opinion on them, so this is mine. We're going to start with the fact that I'm a slightly conflicting human being. I enjoy old shitty cars as much as I do technology. My entire house is smart, I like new camera gear, I've always got the new iPhone, etc, etc, etc. I like technology, but I've never blended the two together in a way of an EV. I mean, yes, I've got CarPlay and new technology in my older cars that make my life a little bit better in cars, but I've never gone the full stretch of buying a new car, well, as new as this. Getting an EV was not a decision I took lightly. It took lots of man maths to work out why this works, and I need to explain how and why that is the case, and then it helps me justify it to myself. When you buy an EV, you have to tell yourself that it's not a car. By definition, it is a car, it has four wheels and it propels you forwards, but you have to think of it like an appliance. It is a car, device, whatever you want to call it, like a washing machine that does a job. And for me, the job this car does is get me to places and back from places. That is it. It has no soul, it has no V8 under the bonnet, it doesn't particularly give me that fuzzy feeling in my crotch that, you know, some cars do when you accelerate and there's a lovely noise and just give you a lovely fizz. It has none of that stuff that an internal combustion car has. However, it gets me to where I want to go efficiently and comfortably. I live in the UK, as you know, and electricity is extremely cheap if you have an EV. It's 7p a kilowatt, which translates to roughly a couple of pence a mile, whereas if I was doing something like 20, 25 mpg in a car, that would cost me 20, 25p a mile. So the saving of having cheap electricity is what helps me justify spending the money on the actual car. I am also quite fortunate that as I work for an electric truck company, we get free charging as a perk of work. We get charges at work. So if I can charge all of my electricity in this car at work for free, it owes me money. Let me explain. How does this owe me money? Well, we need to do some man maths for this to work. The BMW was between £300 and £400 a month in fuel, as I said. We're going to ignore insurance because they're the same price for both, so we'll ignore that. This thing costs me £325 a month, and I'm allowed to do 20,000 miles a year, and it's over 3 years. So, on the assumption that I always put free electricity in it, it's only ever going to cost me £325 a month, which is less than £400 a month. So, it owes me £75. I mean, it doesn't. But it's basically cheaper than driving a petrol car to work and back. I have to point out, the whole purpose of having an EV is not for a I'm trying to be green malarkey. I work in the electric car industry, so I know the statistics of green and all that rubbish. This EV, well, along with a lot of EVs, you need to do between 70 and 80,000 miles for it to even be net zero. That's on the assumption that you charge it at 100% green energy and other little factors, but we're roughly 70,000 miles. So until this car's done 70,000 miles, it's not even net zero. So the people that buy EVs and go, I'm net zero, yes, the end user is net zero effectively, but the whole production of the vehicle cancels that out. So yes, this is not a I'm being green, I've gone away from being a petrol head or anything. It is purely a money-saving exercise.
Let's take a brief break away from battery-powered cars to battery-powered jump starters. Anysody have sent me their 3000 amp jump pack for me to share with you. There's a discount code in the description which gets you at the moment 50% off, which in the UK works out to 25 quid. The really good thing about lithium jump packs is they're the kind of thing you just chuck in the boot and forget about. Because they're lithium, they stay charged pretty much indefinitely. Yeah, you need to recharge them occasionally, but when you need it, it's there. It charges off USB-C, but it also means you can power things off it. So in an emergency, you can charge your phone. It's got a light so you can see where to plug it in. And it's also got a USB for other things like USB powered torches and whatever you have lying around. You power it all from this. The discount won't last long, so codes in the description. As I said, 50% off, 25 quid. Get a couple, chuck them in boots of cars. Really useful things to have. Anyway, back to battery-powered cars.
Why did I go for a Tesla? Now, it's not because I love Elon Musk or any of that rubbish. I can't stand the bloke. But it's the kind of the best of a bad bunch. In the UK, and I think it's probably the same in the US, the charging network is somewhat shit. So, if you're going to have an EV, you need to be able to charge it efficiently when you need to do so. And one thing from having Alex's Tesla was I got to experience the supercharger network quite often, because that thing had quite a limited range and I was going to Reading and back. So, pulling into a service station and just plugging it in and working is a very appreciated fact. Having to find non-branded chargers in weird car parks and hoping they're going to work and different apps and all that rubbish, I couldn't be dealing with that. So with a Tesla supercharging network, you just turn up, plug it in, and it works. But I won't be using that as in fact very often at all, because my plan is this is only a work vehicle and the occasional trip further away. So most of my charging gets done at work, so again, free, don't have to deal with that. And the few times that I charge at home, we have a wall charger, because my other half's just now got a BYD, which is it's a whole weird concept. My whole front driveway is electric, but yes, it works for the purpose of why we need them. Which brings me on to the use cases of electric cars. I believe electric cars are not the future. They are a stopgap to something better, potentially alternative fuels, hydrogen, I'm not quite sure yet, but I feel they're a stopgap. And they have a purpose that, as a commuter vehicle with limited range, they work very well. I also believe you need to have more than one car. And don't worry, I haven't got rid of any more cars. I've only sold the Daily Beamer. I've still got Classic Mini, I've still got a Land Rover, I've still got the Project BMW. I haven't gone completely mad. But for doing just journeys to work, this serves its purpose. It does all it needs to do. It doesn't do any more. It's a washing machine, as I've previously mentioned. Going back to the whole technology thing, as much as I hate a Tesla, it's quite a cool thing. I mean, there are no options really. The only things you can spec are, well, colours, but that's not really an option, of exterior and interior. And then you can either say, I want 1 or 2 motors and I want it short range or long range. That's about it. Yes, the rest is software paywalls of enabling speed and autopilot and all that jazz. But that is the reason I bought a used one, not a new one. So the new one you have to pay a fortune for autopilot and all rubbish. This one, because it's used, has enhanced autopilot. I went for a dual motor because it's going to retain its value a bit better, and it's probably going to be better in winter. And then also this one's had the performance boost, I think it's called, which is basically makes it a performance model but without the different wheels and the wing. But speed wise, it's still the same. Now, it doesn't matter how old you are, going 0 to 60 in anything less than 5 seconds is hilarious. This thing does it in less than 4. It's the difference from, we're doing 0 from now to now, which is just ridiculous. I know it's not powered by combustion and it makes no noise, but doing that is just, it's just fun. I mean, yes, you look like a bloody idiot doing it from traffic lights, but it just satisfies the childishness in all of us. The thing is with EVs, it seems that everybody wants to hate them without actually experiencing them. Having had this for 2 weeks now, as much as I hate it, I like it kind of the same. If we ignore the fact that yes, it's got no engine and it doesn't burn fossil fuels, as a car, which we said it wasn't, it's not bad. As I've just demonstrated, it accelerates ridiculously quickly. The handling is all right. I mean, it's not the best, but for just commuting to work and driving to places and getting to places, it's quiet, it's comfortable. It has sat-nav and Spotify and dash cam and everything built in. I mean, the materials are pretty decent now. It's very airy, it's got a glass roof, and it's fine. It's better than fine. I've always wanted to hate EVs and I just don't. So yeah, this is why I've got one as a daily now. I want to do some pros and cons before I conclude this video. Pros for me, free charging means free fuel, which means I can spend that money on having a new car. And having a new car means less breakdowns. I don't have to fanny about fixing a daily. It's got a warranty. If it's broken, I just hand it back. They give me a courtesy car and then I get it back. Easy peasy. Other pros, which I have really enjoyed having it being 32 degrees outside, going to the gym, 10 minutes before you leave, you can go, oh, set the aircon. You come to a nicely cooled car. And I imagine in winter, when I need to warm it up, it's going to be the exact same. It's got smart features. You know, as a person that loves technology, the whole car integrates into my home assistant of my house. So I know everything about it, which just satisfies my inner geek. That's kind of it for pros. It's a car, it does the job. Negatives. You have to pre-plan if you want to go somewhere. For example, if you do not charge in the evening and I know I'm going to be charging the next day at work, and then, for example, my mum rang me and said, oh, I'm in hospital, I wouldn't be able to drive to said hospital because I didn't have enough electricity. And I mean, yes, I could go to a charger, but then I have to sit and wait to charge. With a petrol engine, you know, it's seconds to fill it with fuel, and away you go. So that is a disadvantage. And as I said, you probably need another car if you're going to own an EV. It's a small disadvantage. Other disadvantages are people look at you and think you're a knob, which I've come to accept driving an EV. But, you know, for me, when I explain, and people will hopefully see this video, it works for me. It might not work for you, it might not work for other people, but the use case for me, I can justify it. And I suppose the other big negative is, as I said, it's an appliance. It's not a car. It's just a functional tool, which it upsets me slightly because I've always grown up with cars being soulful, being things. They've got a bit of personality. They've got charm, and that's the whole reason I fell in love with cars. And driving one that doesn't have any of that is a bit counterintuitive. But yeah, I've come to the point in life where I had too much on, I had too many project cars, and I just needed to simplify, and this was the way to do it. And I don't technically own it, it's on PCP, so, you know, if it doesn't work, I can give it back and I'll go back to driving a petrol engine car. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully next week or the week after's video will be a little more petrol based. I've been accumulating parts for the E36 because I need to do a video on it, but it's pointless trying to do a video a little tiny bit. So I've bought bigger brakes for it. I'm going to get some coilovers, tyres, wheels. I've just tried to make the decision so I can get them all in one video or a couple of videos instead of trying to do little bitty things. But I thought it was interesting trying to justify the reason for me buying an EV. So yes, this is my EV. I'm not going to make any more videos on it because it's a boring Tesla. But yes. Thank you very much for watching.